Hey y'all, this is the intro for the second part of the rig maintenance video. Yeah, it decided it wanted maintenance all of a sudden out of nowhere. I just had two real torrential downpour type rainy days where I could have been working on it, but it wasn't broke. And then I go down about an hour and a half away from the house and it wants to act stupid on the way home, so I had to down it and waste a beautiful day and another halfway decent day putting it back together, all because Cummins, no, it ain't even Cummins, it's Dodge decided this thing needs an electric fan clutch instead of just a manual fixed blade fan like everything had in the 70s. They quit making things with manual fixed blade fans like they had in the 70s because they don't break. Unless you break the belt, the fan spins as long as the engine's running. And if the engine ain't running, you don't need the fan anyways. So, yeah, I'm sorry for having to make it in two parts, but here we go. Alright, so now, since I've used an entire can of No Really's brake clean, that's clean again. What good it did, I have no idea. Probably none. And I'm still getting oil all over the bed of my truck because the guy who built this engine or designed this engine hates me. So I'll be washing the bed of the truck down with brake clean or gasoline. This thing keeps acting the way it's acting. I might just wash the whole vehicle with gasoline and throw a match at it. Plan. Well, being that I'm waiting 14 different forevers for that to drain, let's go back up front and see if the engine on the truck has cooled down good enough to where I can drain the water I just poured in it back out. Yeah, she's still got a little pressure on her, but let's see. Didn't feel all that hot. Never do what I'm doing, by the way. I'm a semi-untrained, not so professional. Basically, all I'm doing is just rocking the radiator cap and relieving a little bit of pressure. You can do that very, very slowly and gently. And if the radiator cap starts getting extremely hot in your hand, before it gets to the temperature that you can't hang on to it anymore, just cinch it back down and let it cool back down. Then repeat the process. Alright. Being that this is just plain water, I can let it run down the driveway. No need for the EPA to be involved. Well, the EPA wouldn't do anything but light it on fire. If you don't get that reference, just find out what they did with all them chemicals that spilled in Ohio when that train crashed. Gonna just drain it all out again. Like I said, it's just water. No ethylene glycol or anything like that in this. Yep, a little O-ring stayed with it this time too. Good. I'm getting a shower I didn't ask for. I'll just lay that drain cock up there and wait for that to drain. Alright, so that finished draining.
And the coolant out of the truck is still draining, or the water that I poured in it to rinse the cooling system is still draining. So I'm sticking this weird filter looking thing back in here. And trying to make sure that rag that I stuffed in there to make it look like I didn't make that big of a mess don't get tangled up. Right. Yeah. Just gonna, yeah, that's good and tight. So now I'll just take and wipe all this excessive amount of oil that I spilled literally everywhere, all over this fine air compressor tank from the 1990s. And then I get to play the game of trying to get fresh oil into that hole with the little yellow cap. I told you, the guy that designed this engine hates me. He didn't know he hated me, but he hates me. How I did it last time was such a disaster, I just might as well go on ahead and do it that way this time. It worked better than any other idea I had. Of course, it's warm enough again to where all the bugs have returned from their vacation in hell and are back to pester me. I'll just use this custom funnel. It's probably going to start leaking at any given time where I bent it. You can't pour it too fast. If you pour it too fast, it'll puke. So we just do a nice slow drizzle and hope it don't puke. And like I said a while ago, anytime you want the wind to start blowing, just start trying to pour oil in something or drain oil out of something, or just strike an arc with anything that requires a shielding gas, and there'll be a breeze. And given the fact that this is going to take entirely too long, I'm just going to speed this portion up or something. This is boring. And I'm pouring it as slow as I can pour it, and it's pouring back out now, so maybe it's full. The reason I'm being that way is it tricked me the last time. I pulled the funnel back out of it like 14 times just to find out it was almost empty yet. It ain't even drank a whole quart. I can see the oil level. Let me just stab it with this stick right quick. Oh yeah, she's full. Alright, fire this thing up, let it idle for half a second, and then let it set for not long enough, and recheck the oil level again. Save them rags. Probably gonna need them, because I think it does take a whole quart at least. Now, in case you was wondering what kind of engine it is, it's that one. strongest single cylinder horizontal shaft that they had in stock that I could find. The advantage to it is it's so much stronger than the Briggs & Stratton that I had on here. This can actually run the compressor at an idle, which saves me fuel, even though this is a bigger and stronger engine. When I need my arc gouger, I just kick it up and let it scream, but whenever I'm doing just needle scaling or occasional burst with an impact, this thing at an idle handles that no problem. About half choke. Yeah, see, it runs pretty good at an idle. I went on ahead and cut the fuel back off on the carburetor, so that'll die here in a minute. Well, close enough. It's dead now. Let her sit, and then we'll recheck the oil. Alright, yep, she's still full of oil. That mess is cleaned up. Well, I've still got that mess, but nah, it'll be alright. It rains around here for a reason. So now I just climb back down off of this thing and go dump that oil in that container over there, and I can get back to my cooling system rat killing. All right, all the way back up here at the front and trying to get this thing situated to where things can be seen. Need another lug nut stud. Well, I tell you what, trying to use a cell phone to video anything is about as useless as Joe Biden. Oh, nice view of the roof. Let's see. That ain't gonna work. Maybe that'll work till the wind blows. Anyways, step one, locate the Blue Devil. If you don't know what Blue Devil is, it's a cooling system flusherizer stuff. Starting with a cool engine, remove radiator cap, open drain cock, drain cooling system. Collect used antifreeze for disposal. Did that. Close radiator drain cock, Blue Devil radiator flush and degreaser, top off cooling system with water, replace radiator cap. Product services systems up to 12 quarts. 12 quarts we know is 3 gallons. This thing takes about double that. So I got 2 bottles. First step for me is pour this stuff in. Break out the trusty Leatherman again, pop the seal. That's just disgusting. Anyways, this is pretty good stuff. Yes, I did put the drain cock back in the radiator. Or radiator. Or whatever it is that everybody else calls them. Down here in southeastern United States, it's generally referred to as a radiator. I know there ain't no E in it, but they also say ain't a word and I ain't gonna use it, but I'm obviously gonna use it. Always keep your products that you're using on your vehicle in 2 separate locations. That way you never know where the other one is. Just pop it. There's that. Alright, now we top it off with water. Before I do all that, let me show you something. That is the highest point on the cooling system. So I need to take that cap out, or that plug out rather, and let the air bleed out of the cooling system while I slowly fill the radiator up. Once the water starts running out of there, cooling system's full. Now, it takes a 3/4 regular old boxed in wrench and a 1/4 inch Allen head, and I'm going to try to get it broke loose without breaking or destroying anything. It's a little springy. Gonna have to use 2 hands maybe. Great. Would you just sit there? Thank you. Yep. It's junk. See? I don't know how good you can see. That is Blue Point, and it's twisted. Come on, camera, focus. Anyways, I managed to twist the end of a Blue Point 1/4 inch Allen socket, which is kind of like a knockoff version of a snap-on, so that's great. I'll just go to plan B, which involves removing one or both of them clamps and bleeding the air out right there. Leatherman. Come on. There we go. There's that. Gently removed. I'll just lay it up there along with my Leatherman so maybe I don't forget to put it back on. And I'll just very, very slowly add water to this cooling system till it goes to pouring out of there and all over everything. Then I can fire this thing back up and run it until the thermostat opens again, or finish following the directions on the side of the bottle. I don't remember. Funny how you never have to use the bathroom until you hear a bunch of water. But yeah, this is pretty much just going to be filling up the radiator, so I'll bring you back whenever I'm done doing that. Alright, approximately 30 minutes later, that's full. Cap back on. Now we see what the next step is, according to the Blue Devils. Start engine and run with heater on max for 20 minutes. For deeper radiator cleaning, drive your vehicle for 1 to 2 hours. Product can remain in the system for up to 4 hours. Do not let the cooling system temperature fall below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so we pretty much fire it back up and all that good stuff, and yeah, see you in a bit. Alright, after what seems like an eternity, she's back up to operating temperature, so I get to shut it back down again and finish doing what the bottle says to do, whatever that is. Probably something along the lines of go eat some lunch and then mess with it some more. Alright, allow engine to cool. Flush cooling system thoroughly with water until all cleaner is removed. Why in the world did y'all make the cleaner the same color and clearness as just plain water? I have no idea. But anyways, after this cools, I get to rinse everything back out with water again. Then I can do my Xerox and coolant or water mix again. Oh, by the way, this entire system was already on here when I got this truck, and I can't afford the bank system just yet. So, Mr. Gale Banks, not my fault. Well, the cooling system has finished draining, being rinsed and drained and rinsed and drained and rinsed and drained. Feels like it's all I've done today is play with this freaking radiator. But anyways, put the drain back in. Don't mind that extra little bit of residual residue or whatever that's coming out of there. Now I get to mix up the Xerox in the Hobo Freight bucket. Oh, fun fact for you. If you join the Hobo Freight Inside Track Club and you are a member for like a month or something, and you go in there and you spend X amount of dollars, they'll give you one of them buckets and a box cutter. A whole 99-cent value for like 40 bucks a month. So there you go. Anyways, this Xerox calls for mixing 50-50 for my environment. I don't need a stronger mix than that, because if it gets below 30 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit in Alabama, something's wrong. Alright, here is the item that I intend to use for this procedure. There's some sort of vacuum thing. You hook it to an air compressor. You hook your air hose on that shiny fitting right there in front of my finger. And then you pull a vacuum on the entire cooling system. Once it's up to like -25 there, then you drop that hose that's got the filter on the end of it down in your bucket full of coolant that's sitting right there, and you open or you close the air valve, and then you open that valve, and the idea is the vacuum that you pulled on the system sucks all the coolant up out of that bucket and completely fills the system without getting any air pockets that trapped in it. So while I'm waiting on the air compressor, I'm gonna hunt down a 1/4 inch fitting that'll go right there that I can hook my air hose on to. Alright, got that hooked up. The leak is coming from that fitting, it's not from that connection. But anyways, maybe it'll work, hopefully. So we open that valve. Well, I didn't expect this, but it's starting to just go on ahead and evacuate the last bit of coolant out of the system. Yep, that's fine. It'll probably, yep, see, it's already sucked the upper radiator hose shut. I wanted to drain that extra reservoir anyways, but I wasn't expecting it to happen that way. At least it's empty now. Alright, I gotta kind of back up and punt. I gotta take that line loose and cap that. Because if I don't, it's just gonna keep sucking air. Well, I might just take it loose from the radiator and save yourself the heartache and misery. Now, one custom vacuum leak plug complete. Hook the air back up and try this again. Let the air build back up. While you're letting the air build up, you might as well just watch that needle and make sure that the amount of vacuum you're holding on the system stays as vacuum you're holding on the system and not turning into vacuum you're losing on the system. I got almost enough vacuum on this thing. I really think I've got enough, but just to see if I can get it on up to 25, I'll go to 25 with it if I can. I'll bring you back after the air compressor builds up. Still waiting on that air to build up, but I'll just go on ahead and show you this. I took an old CB radio antenna that I found laying out in the yard when I first moved here, and I've obviously zip tied it to the end of that very coiled up plasticky clear tube there that's going to be down in the bottom of my bucket. I did that to hold it straight so it would stay in the bottom of the doggone bucket instead of trying to climb up the side before all the coolant comes out of the bucket. Also, if I go to running out of coolant that's in said bucket, I have another gallon 50-50 mix sitting right there, or right there. One of them two is 50-50. That one's straight water. So yeah, here we go. Alright, here we are at 25. So now we stick the CB antenna down into the bucket. And hopefully it'll just stay right where I put it. And now I can open this other valve and hopefully not get a shower of very expensive coolant. And there it is. As the vacuum level goes down, it's pulling coolant out of this bucket. Now I'm probably going to need my other hand here in a minute, so I'm just going to have to let you go here until this is over with. All I'm doing is draining that bucket into that radiator and engine. Pretty simple. Alright, now we know she is slam full of coolant, and I've run it through her paces. I had this thing, I was pretty much holding it at 2400 RPM for like 10 minutes. Watched it finally climb to 200 degrees, and then once it finally reached 200 degrees, thermostat opened up, it kicked on back down. It's been holding steady right there. I tried to get it to go back up to 200 after the thermostat opened. There just ain't no sense in keeping on going like that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna shut her down, and then first thing in the morning when I get ready to get started on the rest of this rat killing, I'll raise the hood, check the coolant level, make sure it's still full. If it's still full, then we're good. If I'm missing some coolant from somewhere, then I'll have to add some. No big deal. But then at some point tomorrow, my new fan clutch is supposed to show up, so I can put that on. But before I get to that, I'll be fixing that messed up bolt on the bottle carrier over there where my torch bottles are. That bolt holds that door shut. I had to kick the door shut because that oxygen bottle is like 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch fatter than the bottle I built this container for. But that's fine, it don't rattle. Anyways, that bolt is stripped. I went to tightening it up and it just started getting loose. So I had this held shut with a ratchet strap, and I've got to take the bolt back out and then cut that nut off. I'm gonna drill the hole out bigger, and I'm gonna put a 5/8 bolt in from the inside if I can, and have it stick out this way where all I'm doing is putting a nut on it. Maybe that'll work out a little bit better. Maybe it won't work at all. I don't know. But now we got to get it apart and figure it out. Alright. This bolt is a 1/2 inch 13. So it takes a 3/4 socket. That's good. It's just coming right on back out. That's fine. So you just get it on loose and get it out of there. Yeah, it ain't really focusing worth a flip on the camera for whatever reason. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, them threads are totally shot. And that's like the third bolt that I've put through that nut. That nut keeps eating every bolt that I stick through it, so I'm just going to take the torch and wash that nut off from the inside. Then I can get here and drill everything out and continue on. I'm also going to do the one over there that holds the shielding gas bottles. That'll be fine. Went on ahead and grabbed my new hardware. I got some of these locking flange nuts. So that'll eliminate the need for that thick washer and the lock washer and basically the stack of uselessness that I've been using. I just hope that I can find a way to get this bolt in between there and right through like that, because I believe that's going to work out a whole lot better than the way I've been doing it. All right, torch time. You just go ahead and, if you're running a mobile rig and you have your bottles exposed, you might already go on ahead and get you some of these clamshell caps and cages. Whenever you open your oxygen up, just open it real slow until it builds full pressure, and then you run it wide open. The reason for cinching it down wide open is if you just crack it and go half around or whatever, I've actually seen them start leaking here, but when you open it all the way up, it'll stop leaking. Same thing with acetylene. You just crack it, let it pressurize, and then you open it all the way up. A lot of people say just crack it and then go half around. Same problem with the valve on acetylene. I've seen them catch on fire there, and then you got a bottle that's on fire at the valve. You grabbing a big ball of fire to cut that bottle off? I sure ain't. I'm gonna get me some yonder. But this particular bottle happens to be bolted to the side of my truck. So yeah, you open that valve all the way up so it don't leak right there. Don't argue with me. I know it will. I've seen it happen. Alright, hopefully the wash tip's still on here. Yep. Let me unroll these hoses right quick. Oh yeah. Vice grip garage, zip ties and bias plies. Can't go wrong with them. If you like working on cars or watching people work on cars or mess with anything that's got an engine, them two and DD Speed Shop and DeBoss Garage, they're all pretty entertaining to watch. But anyways, back to this rat killing. I'm going ahead and turn that tip, and then I can cut that nut off. There, hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing. You know, aside from splitting my kneecap on the bed of the truck trying to climb up here or up there to make sure y'all can see, you're welcome. Just get the gloves on. Never light a torch with a cigarette lighter, by the way. Alright, it ain't perfect and it ain't all that pretty, I don't reckon, but it's definitely close enough for government work, and that's close enough. So now I just got to go get a 11/16 drill bit and fight with that. Alright, went and got my air drill and a 11/16 drill bit. That hole's already 9/16, or is it? It might be half, I don't remember. I can't remember if I made it loose enough for a 1/2 inch bolt or just made it 1/2 inch and drove the bolt through. But anyways, I'll stick y'all back up there on top of the orange box where maybe you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully. Story of my life. Let's wait on the air compressor to build back up. That's one reason why I put that big nice air compressor on the bed of the truck that I'm too lazy to get up there and start right now. So I'm running off a Husky 30 something gallon, whatchamacallit, basically a Home Depot homeowner's got a flat tire style air compressor. It does okay for what it is. That air drill running off a 1/2 inch hose though kind of drains it pretty quick. But once it kicks off, I can get right on back to it. Alright, air compressor finally shut back off, so I can get back to it. So close. Almost. Yes, I'm well aware I need to sharpen my doggone drill bit. But the hole's in it. Let's see if the bolt's gonna go through it. Probably not. No. Bolt's too long. See if I got enough length on this bolt to cut it down and still make it work. I can cut about a 1/4 inch off of that bolt, and I don't think that's going to be enough. Gonna try it anyways. I got 3 more. Move that brand new ratchet strap so I don't get sparks on it. Oh, can't have my sun drop getting burned up either. If you don't know what sun drop is, you're missing out. Way better than Mountain Dew Mellow Yellow. Now I get to play where did the piece of the bolt go? Oh, there it is. Found it. Don't fall again now. Sit there. Now I take the nut back off and let the nut deburr the end of the bolt a little bit, which I'll finish doing with the grinder. And open this vise on up. Set up my mobile bench grinder here. You don't want to clamp it too tight because you'll destroy the head of your grinder, but just tight enough to hold will be just fine. Now, turn it on and lock it on. And there you got it. Threads on just like it ought to. Let's see if it fits now. Oh yeah. Sorry, you can't see, but yeah, just went right in there like it wasn't nothing. So now I can take and get in there and do a little cleaning on that burr, and then cut the other bolt the same length for the other side. But yeah, clean that burr up, stick the bolt in it, tighten the nut, weld the bolt, take the nut back loose, let everything cool. There we go. Kind of zoomed out on it a little bit, so maybe this will work out a little bit better. All right, just gonna take the die grinder and clean that up. Now that's cleaned up, all I got to do now is put the bolt in it, find the nut that I just had. There it is. Actually, I lied, that's the other one. But anyways, got the nut started. Now I'm just going to tighten it, and then I can tack that bolt, take the nut back loose, fully weld the bolt, repair over. Still works. Leatherman. We'll get my true real deal multi-tool back out again. It's pliers, it's a knife, it's a screwdriver, it's also a chipping hammer. It's the Leatherman Multi-Tool Super Tool 300. No, that's not a sponsored statement. They just make the best. Alright, that'll hold. It ain't going nowhere. Some people would have just left the 2 little tacks that I put on it to start with and called it a day. Talking to you, Komatsu. But yeah, now that's good. So I can go to the other side and do the same thing. After that cools, I'll stick that nut on it, run that nut down. She ain't going nowhere. Also gonna put some anti-seize on them threads too. But yeah, that's it for that. Oh, I should have remembered. Before I cut that machine off, I meant to tell y'all something. This is gonna go back to I don't know how many of you watched my review on this particular machine, but now y'all know I did an oil change on this thing yesterday. But there's the message. It says oil change due. You hit the button to acknowledge it. It'll say air filter change due. You hit the button to acknowledge that. Then you hit the home button and you scroll. I scrolled way too far. But you go right there. See, it's a different color than everything else. Even without the red on it. You still got to go right there. So you go there, select, acknowledge, acknowledge. Then you go here, hold that down. There's that. That's reset. Now that's reset. So now you go back home. No more dumb message. So that's how you reset your counter. It's pretty quick, easy, and simple. It ain't even as aggravating as getting the engine oil change needed reset on a 2008 Dodge. But yeah, now that ain't cool yet, but once it cools, I'll stick the nut on it and I'll be done with that. I ain't gonna bother filming the other side because it's exactly the same process. If you don't believe me, I'll just show you. See? Same bolt, same size, same problem. Wiping threads off of it.